not live, no?
And hello, my chunsters. Welcome back to Wrestlecast, where we are being struck by 1,000,001 tech issues all at the same time. First of all, my PC shuts down. Yay. And then I'm on my phone, and the thing just goes offline. I didn't tell it to go offline, it just did. So I thought, yeah, we can at least go on my phone and everything's going to be fine, it's going to be dandy. But that didn't quite happen. But the good news is my microphone's working again. So, this has been, honestly, I know I'm laughing about it, but inside right now you have to understand that I'm dying inside about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back, we're going to edit it all over. At the end of part 1, I just finished talking about quite liking the flying bit, and then Luke was about to say what he likes about doing wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I love learning new things. Just pushing myself to do things that 5 months ago I wouldn't have even thought I was capable of doing, and I can. And also, now that since I found that first thing about shows around here, I've gone to so many, and seeing, as I said before, the guys that are on the scene now doing the shows, what they do is phenomenal. They raise a bar for trainees who want to get to their level. I said about Jason King, who is just, he's so animated and he's just so good at what he does. He raises that bar of, can you be that entertaining? I was saying about the marvelous Mark Walsh. He is a natural bad guy, isn't he? Really, and he raises the bar. Can you piss off a crowd as much as he does? Because he just does it so well. And
challenge accepted.
I mean, those guys. I mean, John Hardin. I mean, he puts in so much charisma into his matches, and it's kind of like watching a fan be able to wrestle, because I think you see that in him when he performs, and there's just so many good guys that are just so good at what they do, and they raise the bar, and I enjoy that, looking at it going.
You enjoy the challenge then?
Yeah, I enjoy the challenge of going, I'd like to be just as good one day. Yeah.
Okay, I get that. Marcus, yourself?
Yeah, well, basically just like what you guys were touching upon. I mean, one of the things I've liked the most about training as well, I mean, obviously learning new things and pushing your limits and saying, I can actually do this, and getting support and encouragement from those guys. The thing is as well, it's the opportunities to go to things like local shows, because when you're a wrestling fan, that covers so many spectrums. Because when you say you're a wrestling fan, you could watch just, let's say, WWE, you could watch just TNA, just Ring of Honor, just NJPW, just CZW, Jesus, anything like that. Whereas when you scratch the surface and you actually start training and you get to hang out with some of the local talent and get the chance to be a part of the shows and stuff, you just realize that, especially I would say in the UK scene right now, UK wrestling scene is hot. There are so many talented guys out there. It's unbelievable, and you get the chance to kind of meet them, talk to them, have a chance to listen to what they've got to say, the stories they tell, study the way they are in the ring, ask them for advice and things like that, and you kind of just get a first-person perspective on it, as opposed to being a third person where you just sit back and watch and think, oh, that's cool. And the thing is as well, it's like things like opportunities and stuff, because when you start training, you start finding out things about yourself, and you can basically just build on that and become a better person, and you hang out with so many great people. And I mean, the support and the encouragement you get, I mean, the guys that I've met, and I'm sure that you've met, and everybody else, our group that we've all met, they're just such cool guys. There's no false prejudices about them. They love what they do, highly passionate about what they do, which is, always fantastic, because you kind of feed off that positivity. And getting the chance to just hang out with them, learn new stuff, improve yourself as well, in terms of health and actually being in the ring and everything like that. You just get a chance to improve and build on the, basically become a better person than what you were X amount of months, days, years, whatever ago. So, and the opportunities are just fantastic. British wrestling right now is the place to be.
You know what? Marcus just said everything I was about to say in response to this next question, which was, how has it benefited me? Like, what's been the major changes in me since we started wrestling? We don't even have to do that now. I was about to ask that, but yeah.
You can always touch upon it. I mean, you can go into more detail with that, because, I mean, I know you're kind of thinking in the same vein as me, but, like, we noticed as well. I mean, I'm not sure so much about Luke, obviously. We started a little bit earlier at LEP than Luke did. I mean, with like us, we noticed, like, I'm sure Luke has as well, like, when you start wrestling, your attitude towards so much just changes. I don't know what it is. It's really hard to describe, but you just start feeling so much better about yourself, and you're like, God damn, I'm doing things that people in their lives would never even think about attempting, let alone actually get in there and do it, you know? And it's just such a great feeling. It's like a sense of self-empowerment almost, to actually get in there and be like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, it's like, it's confidence, isn't it? Once you realise, hang on a minute, I can pick somebody up for a body slam. I can do all this stuff. It's like, yeah, it's true. It's like, and the fitness side of it as well. Like for me, that my physical fitness is just so much better than what it was. It's a huge confidence thing. Admittedly, yeah. Is it much the same for you?
I agree. I think if you confidence-wise, yeah, definitely. I think there's prospects, there's things to look forward to, you know, and you know that hard work pays off, especially when you see it in other guys that are doing it as well, and who are at the level that they are. There's goals and there's places to go, and I think that's exciting, especially if you recognise in yourselves that it's paying off. You're getting better. You're learning. You're becoming a better person in the ring, out the ring. That's exciting for me. You know, there are things to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that me and Marcus will attest to in our line of work. You do not have, and to finally to work so hard, but to actually see that there is something that you'll get something out of it, rather than where we work, where you work so hard and nothing. If anything, just threatening of being fired if it continues this way. It's like, what? But anyway, that was all the questions. Now, unfortunately, it was a bit technically interrupted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and edit this episode up. If anyone's still watching us, hopefully they are. Hopefully they've been with us. But I'm going to go and edit this whole thing together so we get a much more cohesive episode. Yeah. Because we're now going to start doing plugs. I told you that it's a training episode, talking about like people at the very, very, very start. So we're going to talk about schools and their trainers, in the hope that if anybody has heard the stories about gaining confidence, getting in better shape, and they want to do all this themselves, like I would recommend you start. If you're on the fence, then that's a very good sign that you should start. So we're gonna plug the local schools in the southwest of England so that you know where you can go, so that you don't have our problem of not knowing where. So we're gonna start right here in Cornwall with Cornish Pro Wrestling Boot Camps.
CPW.
Exactly. Now these boot camps, they run every single fortnight. The last one was yesterday on the 5th, which means 14 days from now. What's the matter than that? Yes, it's going to be the next one. Is going to be the 19th of March. They're now reduced price. They're £20 per session. So instead of, I can't remember what it was. I think it's 25. So
25. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're now £20 per session. That's 5 hours of training. You get 2 hours of lunch break and then another 2 hours. And it's all really good. It's good stuff. You'll be taught fundamentals. You'll be taught how to actually apply a wrist lock. You know, after a pro wrestling boot camp, you will be able to tell a wrist lock from a wrist watch, which is you know, and you'll learn all this stuff. You'll be taught about the science of wrestling, and because there is an art to it, and you'll learn this stuff. And Marcus is
Psychology.
putting crazy faces. Yes, you will learn about that type of thing, and we'll also have, because it's the same trainer, you also have PWA, the Plymouth Wrestling Alliance. I've forgotten the name of the gym. That's bad. But you also have Plymouth Wrestling Association School. I will link everything in the description as well. And the reason why I mentioned them as well is because we have John Harding is the head trainer for both companies. And I today, as well as just plugging the schools, I thought it'd be a hell of a good idea. Why don't we plug the trainers? Because these are the people who make the schools what they are. And that's one thing I wanted to do, which I haven't done before. So I wanted to talk about John because here is a man who tells stories that hopefully I won't tell too much of his stories, so that hopefully when John Harding comes on the podcast, John, we are waiting for you. Your picture's up there.
Get on the podcast.
Yeah, hopefully it will happen soon.
Just do it.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be telling his stories then. But here's a man who's spent 15, I think it might even be 16 years in the business. He's done TNA British Boot Camp #2, so he has so much experience. He's also got some acting things going on for himself. But here's a man who for me, he can break down he's quite a light-hearted chap, so he's more than happy to have a giggle with his trainees. But the most important thing is I find he's able to break it down. He's like, okay, so this is what you do with this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
there's no slacking, is there? You can't slack with John either. John, from my point of view, is a great guy. He's an incredible wrestler. He's a great trainer. Like he was the first trainer I had down at the CPW boot camps, and I've trained with him since. And you can have a laugh with you guys, but he wants the best out of you, and he'll work your ass off, and it's I can't say anything better about him really. He's just a genuinely good guy, good trainer.
With John, it's I always remember the first time I met John. It was about 7 years ago. It was back when PWA was basically just starting, and we went to a show. And I always remember that spot he had. He was in the main event with Johnny Sicko, and this is a spot I've only ever seen once. I've never seen it before. He put Sicko into a tree of woe, and then broke a vinyl record across Sicko's shoulder, like his clavicle bone there. And this thing just shattered into splinters, and the entire crowd just kind of went, and it was just stunned silence. And I've never ever since seen that spot. And I just remember thinking at that time, Jesus, man, this guy's good. This guy's really good. And the way he told the story was sick. They had an incredible match. The entire show itself actually was fantastic. As a trainer, I have not a bad word to say about John. He's very patient. He will talk to you. He's happy to answer questions. You can come to him with any problems or issues you have. You can, say to him, I don't feel like this is going right. And he's like, okay, well, just think about it this way. Try doing it this way. Try doing it that way. He has time for people. And just generally all around just a great guy to be around. And I mean, he's got so much going on. And I really do honestly wish him all the best for the future with his acting and, especially with CPW as well. I'm really hoping that this company will boom because it deserves to. Everyone there works their asses off. They deserve every single piece of praise that they get. Any criticisms, I'm not happy about. I don't enjoy criticism. Don't knock my company. It's just he's just such a good guy. He is one of the guys. I mean, especially if you live in Cornwall and you're thinking, I don't know where to go, where to train. He is the man to contact to get in touch about it. Well as Terry and Alice Speller as well. Those guys, can't knock those guys at all. Guys that run CPW doing fantastic work. And, it's just great to have the opportunity to be a part from that and learn from John himself and, some of the other guest trainers that have been down there. It's just fantastic. So John Harding is the man to talk to if you're in the Cornwall area and you think, I want to start training. Get in contact with John Harding.
Now you say that, but the first time I spoke to John Harding, I had paid for the boot camps, but I was getting really impatient because it was like a month away, if not a bit longer. I really wanted to start training, so I started going on a wrestling training stalking thing, trying to find people locally. And John Harding's name had come up in a conversation on Facebook, and I had messaged him. I had privately messaged him, and I said, "Look, you have no idea who I am, but I'm gathering that you are a professional wrestler. This is where your name was put there. Can I get some? Do you do training, that sort of thing?" I heard nothing, and I was really gutted because I was like, "Oh, this dude looks like he really knows what he'd be talking about," and I heard zero. CPW bootcamp, the first one I go to, the head trainer is actually John, and I recognised him straight away and went, they messaged me back. So you got a suplex or two for that. But no, he's a good guy and a great trainer.
I think the reason John doesn't, he's so busy. He's got so much.
Oh yeah.
He's such a
he's
busy
going
guy.
places.
Yeah,
he's definitely going places. He's got the heart. He's got the dedication. He wants it. He's like what we were saying earlier on, when you're a kid and you want to be a wrestler. I think a lot of when John talks to you about it, it's like it's John as a child telling you what he wants, and he's done well enough to get where he is already. So
Yeah,
big things for him.
Yeah, and you talk about going places, which is a nice link to the next place I want to talk about, because you want to talk about going places. Well, this next company is definitely going places. It's LEP, Limited Edition Promotions. Now this, we've got Academy. We've got the 7th LEP 7 coming up March 26th. We've been announced in May. They're going to be making their debut in Exeter. There's also a show happening in April. Haven't announced where, but we will get that to you whenever we can. And there's exciting things are happening. And LEP is based in Torquay on Abbey Road. And there's so much you can do in there. It's £30 a month, and this gives you access to Mondays for one-to-ones. You have to pre-book those with the head trainer Danny Walsh. Then you get Tuesday, that's an advanced class. You do have to be invited to that one, but if you do, that's a very good class to be in. Then you have Wednesdays, which has an hour. The first hour is a kids session. And then from 7:30, it's an adults media session, so you'll be practicing your presenting skills, like how to present yourself in front of the camera, which is a very important part. And then you get Thursday, which is a basics class, and Friday, which is another basics class, so it'll teach you more about how not to break your neck, the type of things like that. Then, because also that's very important.
It's a good thing to learn, not how to not break your neck.
Yeah, because there's a very, very, very real chance you can. Saturday is again one-to-ones. So you have to organise those with Danny, and Sunday is a kids session. And for £30 a month, I think adults are allowed to go to the kids sessions if they want to and help, but it's not really for adults training. So that's something you want to bear in mind. But yeah, it's absolutely a phenomenal place to learn. They've got a ring permanently set up, which periodically gets taken down and put back up again. So you learn that, so you know how to build a ring, which is important. If you're going to shows, you want to know how to do that. So much you can learn there. It's ridiculous. They've got gym equipment on hand, so if you're injured, if you've hurt yourself during training, but you can still lift a weight, you can do that. And I suppose that means we should talk about Danny and Mark, because Danny and Mark Walsh, the team of Pretty Marvelous, they run this thing. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Danny, when me and Mark first started, Danny was there every week. I think Mark had things going on, and Danny was there. And oh man. The thing that I really want to say about Danny, is, and you cannot and as a coach, this is something you cannot undervalue enough. It's so important. Danny makes you believe that it's possible. You'll like be presented with something, and you'll be like, "Oh my god!" But Danny will make you believe in yourself, and he will make you believe that it's possible. And as a coach, that's almost the most important thing, I think, in a coach, is actually encouraging you to actually do something. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
Danny's great. I mean, he's a good bloke. I mean, he's a good guy. He's an incredible trainer. He's what's the word? Is it empathetic, or is that right? Is that
yeah,
the right word? But
yeah.
you know, a challenge came to me, and it was something that I was struggling with, and I was a little bit fearful of, if I'm honest. And you know, he wasn't horrible about it, but he was pushing me, and it was a good pushing. It was, you know, tell it to fuck off, do it, you can do it, and I think I could do it a little bit. But you know, it's the case of he's not saying, okay, well, you can sit to the side, don't worry about it. It's you're going to do it because you can do it. Don't tell yourself you can't, because that's when you failed. And you know, and that's Danny and Mark together are a great team. Both good guys.
Yeah, I mean, I have absolutely no bad words to say about Danny. He is just so fantastic at what he does. I mean, we've had the chance to, you know, watch him in person and train with him. As far as a coach goes, like Luke was saying, in terms of pushing you and saying, okay, come on, you can do it, you will do it, and teaching you so many new things that you thought you could never ever do, Danny is there to help push you and say, okay, you can do this, you will do this, and you will get better at what you do. He expects 100 and 110% from all of his students. If you give him 110%, he'll give you 120 back. He's just one of those guys that you can just go to. He's such a character as well. There's no ill feelings with Danny. You can talk to him about anything. He loves a laugh and a joke, but you know, he's all business as well. Same goes to Mark. Mark, I have nothing bad to say about Mark either. Mark is he's just out there. He's just awesome. He's such a good bad guy. It's fantastic.
He is.
I refer to him as a CM Punk of LEP.
Yeah, here's the thing that you need to know about Mark as well, because there have been times where there's been 2 times, right? Once I massively hit my head in training, like it just bounced off the ring badly, and I was like, oh, that's got to be the end. I'm feeling out of it. And then there's another time when I was I hadn't slept for I think 27 hours at the point of turning up. I was like, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna try and learn. And both times, Mark came over to me and he told me just how it is. He's like, okay, well, if that happens to you in a match, you can't just stop. You have to go. You keep going. He's like, if you're tired and you're in a match, you have to keep going. And he told me, that's the thing with Mark. You put in 100. He's like just like Danny in that sense we just mentioned. But if you start putting up excuses, he'll start slapping you in the face and saying, no, don't. And he will tell you flat out why you're an idiot for doing it. And that's the thing, and you need that as well. Sometimes I think you need a slap in the face, and you need to be told, no, that wasn't right. This is right, and this is how it has to be done. And Mark will be the first to do that to you.
I think with our experience at LEP and our experience with CPW, if your intention to turn up and train is to sit there and watch or to give up at the first hurdle, don't turn up. That's not what it's about. You know, if your intention is to think, oh, I'll try it, I'll dip my feet in the water a little bit, but if it gets a bit too tough, don't bother. It's a waste of your time and everyone's time. You want to be there, you work your ass off, and Danny and Mark will push you, and so will John down at CBW. They will push you because they'll see something. And we've all been there. We've all been at the hurdle where we've gone, oh my god, I need to sit down, or I can't do this. I'm too scared to do this. And then they push you, and you do it, and you feel so much better from it. It's a tough game, but you've got to go in it with dedication.
Exactly. And now there's another school that I've been talking about for ages is going to be reopening, and it is going to be reopening, and I finally have a date, and I finally have some details to bring to you about this school, because I've talked to you about keep an eye on Twitter, keep an eye on Facebook to find out when this happens. But DWA is now restarted. Last night it restarted, it's opened its doors again.
DWA.
Which Yeah, I'm going to be talking about DWA a lot next week, I believe. I'll tell you why after this little plug. But DWA, it reopens its school on March the 13th at 1 p.m. This is happening at the Exeter Boxing and Martial Arts Centre on Beacon Lane in, guess where? Exeter! You know,
Oh!
that's a shocker.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one.
It's 4 hours of training, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. for £10 per session, and your first session is half price. At least that's what it says in the Facebook, and I will link you all to this so you can see the flyer. And here's the thing, it doesn't say who the head trainer is, but I believe... You know what? I've got somebody coming on next week, hopefully. Got to make a phone, got to give him an extra phone call. Yeah, fingers crossed. I need to phone him again, because after today I've been, again, a bit busy, but tomorrow I have time on my hands. I can give him the phone call. I asked him last night if he would do it. He said yes, but he'll be on next week, hopefully, because next week we have. I just want to announce this right now. I want to start the hype train. I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about this because next week my guest is none other than the UK Dominator.
Ooh.
Now,
turn into that.
That is special. Now, next week you're going to find out all about the UK Dominator, what he's about, because this man is incredible, I think.
One of the best, actually. I think he is one of the best around.
Well, I mean, we're talking about trainers, right? UK Dominator pretty much trains all the trainers that we just talked about. So, I mean, he is the ultimate, I think, trainer in the area. And I think UK Dominator is going to be heading up training at DWA Academy. I'll tell you what, I will be asking Dom about all this next week, hopefully, assuming all goes well. And that's going to be awesome because, yeah, I will. And by the way, every school, everything we've talked to you about, I will link you in the description to CPW, PWA, LEP, and DWA. But thanks to tech issues, this has now gone on for over an hour. And I know that's a long old slog. I think we said everything we wanted to say because today I really wanted to present a good side of the business, a side which you don't hear about very often, because you always hear about it bloody hurts, I have to sacrifice so much, and you wonder why would anybody do it? And I think today we have covered why we as people go through all that. And I believe today has been a very... I hope that people have heard today and thought to themselves, yes, I want to give wrestling a go. Anybody who's been on the fence, I hope they've heard that and are now wanting to start. And like I say, next week we're going from the very beginnings of wrestling to the next level. It's the UK Dominator next week. I'm so excited about that. This is a man who my admiration for the UK Dominator is off the scale. I can't even put it into words. Just how much I was so nervous about asking him yesterday if he could do this, just because you see he's busy, and you think, is it disrespectful to go over and ask him? Like, I was like, I won't know if I don't ask. I don't know. And so hopefully next week, the utter legends that is the UK Dominator will be here. That's going to be huge. But yeah, for now, I would like to say to you all, thank you very much for watching. We're sorry about the tech issues. There will be an edited version of this show where there is no tech issues, hopefully. We've cut all that garbage out. For now, I must say a huge thank you to my two guests tonight, Luke Andrews and Marcus Osborne. Thank you for coming on, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Not a problem.
Like it, son, like it!
Like it.
Yeah, and actually, whilst we're saying like it, why don't you like the video, son, like it? Because that was Wrestlecast episode 8 in 2 parts, or if you're watching it in the edited version, 1 part, and you're hearing about tech issues which you haven't seen. But yes, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all next week, because next week is going to be huge. So until then, take care, everybody. Thank you for watching, and good night. Happy Mother's Day.